So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back once again to the greatest watch market update show. We got some information that I need to give you guys, ladies and gentlemen. That boxing gentleman. The boxing gentleman. I don't know if you guys know who the boxing gentleman is, but there's a situation happening with the boxing gentleman. Unbelievable, but true. That boxer. That boxer that claims that he has all those hundreds of millions of dollars. Information gonna knock your socks off your back. That gentleman that claims that he's worth over $1 billion. That boxer, the boxer, Sweet Pea, I don't know, whatever his name is, he's unbelievable. Well, that boxer, ladies and gentlemen, he purchased a watch from that watchmaker, Company Jacob. You know who Company Jacob is, ladies and gentlemen? You don't know who Company Jacob is? You need to Google it, ladies and gentlemen. But I'm gonna give you something that's gonna surprise you, because these people unbelievable. This boxer by the name of, that boxer, Mayweather, Mayweather Floyd. He's unbelievable. This gentleman is basically, his money is disappearing. His money is disappearing because the owners of that real money want their money back. This is unbelievable. You guys don't know about this kind of stuff. I don't think you guys are prepared, to hear about the new world order owners of the world. This Meshuggah, the boxer, that says he bought like 60 buildings in Manhattan, New York. Today, basically, has been wiped out, zero. No more money in his bank accounts. You can't play around with the elite. The elite just lend you the money for a little time. You know. So now basically they're taking every single dime he has. I feel bad, for that gentleman, that boxer. The boxer, the guy that he spends money like there's no tomorrow. And I believe those owners of the real money, they lend them the money. They just let him, use it for a while until they get tired of his, antics. They got tired. You guys don't know about this kind of stuff, and I'm going to try to explain it to you while I am, it's unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. But anyway, guys, the gentleman purchased a watch from Company Jacob, full of diamonds for $18 million. $18 million, unbelievable but true, ladies and gentlemen. $18 million, and I believe Sweet Kikino sent me a telegraph, telegram, because I'm, somewhere, sent me a telegram that the Company Jacob won't even offer him for the watch. You're not gonna believe this, but they won't even offer him not even a cool $1 million. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what happens when you are a Meshuggah. This boxer has spent too much of his money, and the real owners of that money, there's a lot of companies involved, a lot of corporations involved on this. Exactly, it is a dog with fleas. You're absolutely right, Flip. But the time has come that the owners of the that real money, they want it back, and they have taken it back. And now this gentleman, they'll probably dump him in a cell in jail. It's unbelievable. You can't mess around with these people. And his collection of watches, ladies and gentlemen, his collection of watches, you're not gonna believe this, but I believe is being offered. This watch collection that he has is being offered to no other than the two Roxbury brothers, a night at the Roxbury, brothers, and also the gentleman Toupee Wigman, Toupee Wigman with the flower shirts, pink shoes, yellow pants, unbelievable, worth over $400 million. I hear that they're gonna be selling his watches to these people, the company over there, Feet Happy, over there from California. Ladies and gentlemen, you can't play around with the real owners of the world, all these people that you see out there which have hundreds of millions of dollars. like the other Meshuggah, whatever his name is, you know, CJ, you know, CJ, J, whatever you call him, you know, all that money is, you know, just lent. You know, they lent them like lend you a pair of shoes, like lend you a tuxedo. They lend you the money for a while until the real owners of the money, they want it back. And this poor young man, this poor boxer that he's been, you know, been flim-flamming you guys, you know, with these fights that he does, you know, these fights that he does with the other clown, you know, the other guy, you know, that he fought Mike Tyson not too long ago, and they made $20 million. This is all a scam, ladies and gentlemen. But I'm telling you, when the real owners come around to pick up their money, they want it back. And I believe that this gentleman, that poor guy, you know, Mayweather Floyd, he's gonna end up in the slammer. You know, they're gonna have a bunch of excuses. You know, for him now that he owns taxes, that he owns that he owns this. It's unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. The world is turning upside down. You know, but it is what it is. You know, I'm doing a little traveling. I'm gonna go see a couple of rhinoceros. I'm gonna go see a couple of giraffes. You know, and I thought I should, you know, let you guys know these things because, you know, you guys been skip hopping around through life like rabbits for too long. And I got to give you this information while I am in vacation, you know. But ladies and gentlemen, la situación está jodida. You know, this poor young guy, you know, this poor guy is going to be homeless, you know. He's, you know, I'm telling you, you guys don't know about this kind of stuff, but you got a guy, you got to get into the program and start reading, you know. You know, you imagine this guy was saying that he was making, you know, the boxer, you know, that Mayweather guy, he was making $3 million a week, you know, a week, you know, it's all a sketch, you know. You know, it's easy to sketch people out there, you know, it's easy to flim flam people, you know, and hoodwink people. And that's what it is. The real owners of the money want their money back and they're going to get it back. And you will see that guy Mayweather doing exhibition fights out there. You know, it's going to, I told him, I told many people that he will end up this way, you know. You know, I'm telling you, it is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. You guys need to know this because the world is upside down. Ladies and gentlemen, they're going to sell. They're going to sell all his watch collection, you know, part of it to the gentleman over there, you know, those a night at the Roxbury, you know, two gentlemen. One is smarter, one is dumber, one is taller, one is shorter, you know, and they hang around with the sidekick. The old man is 80 years old with the purple pants, pink shoes, green belt, flower shirt, you know. He drives a Ferrari, a Bentley, you know, all those cars. Those people are unbelievable. And the other part of that collection from the Mayweather boxer, they're gonna sell it in 47th Street. You know to who? To the Subway Jumper. You know the Subway Jumper? You know who he is? He's in 47th Street. You know, he hangs around with the other gentleman. What's his name? Forgot his name. With the Simba genie. You know, with the skin tight hair and the sides and the men bun in the back. You know, it's unbelievable. These people. You know. But ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know something. Keep this in mind. The secondary gray watch market is dead, ladies and gentlemen. The secondary gray watch market is totally dead. No matter what you guys continue to hear out there, the watch market is dead. I'm telling you, you know it. You know what I'm trying to say. The Ghost Jumper of 47th Street. You know, look for him. You know, the Ghost Jumper train jumper. You know, he's unbelievable. He's not the most handsome man in the world. I mean, I think he's younger than me, but he looks like he's like around 85 years old. He's unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, la situación está jodida, and you guys gotta buckle up, you know? You guys gotta buckle up. I'm taking time from my vacation to come live, you know, from this restroom I'm in, you know. I'm gonna get a massage from this gentleman, you know. I'm getting prepared. And I thought I should tell you about what's happening out there, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to know something, that if you're looking at the Rolex Daytona Panda, you know, stainless steel with the white dial and the black ceramic bezel, you know, this is the older reference, you know, 116. If you're looking at that reference number, don't pay for that watch. And I mean, don't pay for that watch more than $23,000. And it is dropping faster than Billy Boy's pants and Arkansas farmhouse. I know what I'm trying to tell you, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot continue, take out of my time, to do this for you guys because, you guys, like I said again, you guys cannot continue skip hopping around like rabbits, We can't, and Sweet Kid Kino sent me this telegram, telefax, teleflex, whatever it is, I don't know what, fax. He sent me all this information and he told me that things are bad, The world is turning upside down. People are passing away suddenly. There was a gentleman that was giving a mass yesterday, Easter, and suddenly the next day, finito, because it's what it is. The new owners of the world, man, the elites, they don't play around. They wipe you out. And if you do them wrong, te joden, papi, te joden. Esta gente son el diablo. Son el diablo. Yo sé lo que les digo a ustedes. I know what, ladies and gentlemen, things are bad out there, right? Things are bad out there. Now, ladies and gentlemen, another watch that I want to talk to you about too. It is the Rolex Rose Gold Olive Green Dial. The Rose Gold Olive Green Dial. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking into that watch, don't pay for that watch more than $38,000, and it is dropping. I know what I'm trying to tell you guys. These people are trying to get you any way they can. They have this big attack on all of you, putting prices all over the place. That the market is up and running. Watch market is dead, ladies and gentlemen. The watch market is dead. I know what I'm trying to tell you, ladies and gentlemen. The watch market is totally dead. And I think that you guys should know the truth and nothing but the truth. I cannot be, I cannot be traveling the world, and not tell you what's happening out there. I need to tell you guys. You guys need to know the situation that's happening out there. You guys need to know it. And it's the truth, ladies and gentlemen. The Illuminati, you know what the Illuminati is? If you don't know what the Illuminati is, you Google it, because I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you what the Illuminati is, but when the Illuminati comes for you, then they come knocking for your door, it's over. You saw what happened to MJ, and I don't mean MJ, the basketball player. You saw what happened to Prince, and I'm not talking about Princess Diana. You saw what happened to that guy, George. You know who Boy George is? Not Boy George, Michael George, you saw what happened. They wiped him out. You saw what happened to that beautiful singer, the Houston Whitney. You saw what happened to him, These people, when they come for you, they come for you, And you saw what happened, also what happened to Cosby. These people come for you, they come for you, papa. La situación está jodida. Listen and learn, ladies and gentlemen. I know this is too deep for you guys. This is too deep. You might be wondering, what is this man talking about? I'm talking a whole lot. Maybe things that you should start thinking about, and putting the dots together. La situación está jodida, papi. El mundo está virado al revés. The world is upside down, ladies and gentlemen. I know what I'm trying to tell you. You see that? They take your houses away. Bobby, when these people, all these entertainers you're seeing there, these are just, these are the puppets. These are puppets who sooner or later will be sacrificed. You don't believe me? You Google it, look into it. They have to be sacrificed. Because this is a real big corporation, and there's a lot of owners that want their money back. They don't want to see a guy spending money and playing $4 million in a casino in a football game and doing all kind of crazy things. Listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. This guy, Mayweather Floyd, he went over there, to the country of the oil man. The oil man country. He went over there, ladies and gentlemen, to the oil man country. And he went over there because this guy bought so much jewelry there, so many watches over there. He bought it from the, not that toupee. He bought it from the Iron Sheik tunic, man. The Iron Sheik tunic, man? He bought too many Richard Mills, too many Paddocks, too many APs. And then when he was coming back home over there, leaving that country, the oil, those oil mans over there, they don't play around. The oil mans over there, they don't play around. So when he was over there and he was trying to catch a plane back, they got him over there. They stopped him. He owned millions of dollars in taxes to those people. And those oil men over there, they don't mess around. Those oil men over there will take off your socks off without taking off your shoes. I know what I'm telling you. The oil men over there, they don't play around. So you know what? He couldn't even pay the couple of $1 million that he owned over there. The couple of $1 million that he owned over there, he couldn't pay it because he didn't have not even a bank account. And those people over there were asking him, well, Mr. Mayweather, how is this subject that you don't have an account? He said, no, because they have different bank accounts, this bank account. These people don't even have bank accounts. These people are just being lent this money, lend them this money, let him have this money, let them showcase that he has hundreds of millions of dollars, but it's not even his. And when these people want their money back, it's just a push and give me my money back. I'm telling you this because this issue right now with the boxer Mayweather, if you don't know too much about it, you need to Google it so you can understand and you can put the dots together and you can see what I'm saying. Let me tell you something. When you play with those people, when you play with those Illuminatis, the Illuminatis, they come for you. They come for you. They come knocking on your door. They come dressed in black with a tie and a white shirt. Mira, y te rompen las nalgas. You don't know about that, guys. I know this is too much for you, but I need to also give it to you because, it's part of what I need to do with you guys, I come here to drop knowledge to you people. I know you guys don't know about the Masons. I know you guys don't know about the Illuminati, I know you don't know about that, but let me tell you, the world is run by those people. The world is run with those people, and when you need to be sacrificed, you need to be sacrificed. I hope this video finds all of you well. I hope all of you had a nice weekend. Like I said again, I'm going to go see a couple of rhinoceros and hippos. Not the hungry hippo, Mr. Magoo. Unbelievable. But I'm going to go see a couple of giraffes and a couple of... Ladies and gentlemen, la situación está jodida. Things are bad out there, guys. I'm telling you, people in the entertainment industry are falling like pins. If when these people come for you, it's over, Papi. These people, they give you the sign, and that's it. You know what the sign means? What does it look to you like? When they give you those three sixes, it's all over, guys. I know you guys don't know about this stuff, and I understand. I understand that you guys don't know about this, but I need to give it to you. I need to give it to you because some of you, you're dumbskis. You know what a dumbski is? And I cannot. You said it. They're falling like pins, Papi. They're falling like pins. It's unbelievable. It's crazy. I know what I'm trying to tell you, but a gentleman, like I said again, a gentleman was giving a beautiful speech out there, in La Roma, La Roma, and very nice, and talking to people, and suddenly the next day, poof, up in smoke, gone. I'm not saying no names. I'm saying La Roma. I don't know. You Google it. But people, when these owners of the world, the elite owners, esto es mucho para ellos. This is too much for you guys. And when the elite owners want their share back, they want it back. And you know why they want it back? Because la situación está mala, because the situation is terrible out there, ladies and gentlemen. I've been telling you, I made a video, ladies and gentlemen, a couple of days ago telling you about that all these parts, whatever it is, luxury parts are coming from China, handbags, watches, whatever it is. And now every single person, every Muppet, Boiler Room, Secondary, Gray Watch Market channel is making, videos and saying, I don't know if that can be true, that the watch parts are coming back, Come on, this is, come on. You cannot continue skip hopping around through life like rabbits. You guys cannot keep on smoking, from a skull, from a skull. You cannot continue smoking from a skull, from a skull. Nobody's going to give you this kind of knowledge, I give you this knowledge because it's, who I am, I mean, you cannot continue being window lickers, tomato cans, crumb bums, Palmolive dish lickers. You cannot continue. Cow tippers, possum kickers. That's what they want. The world is built that way. I know what I'm trying to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you the truth. When you look at everything I'm telling you about that guy, Mayweather, whatever you call him, you're going to say, man, how does this one know so much? I don't know nothing. The one that knows everything is no other than Sweet Kino. Unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, Sweet Kid Kino is a smart man. Kino is a smart man. And I know what I'm trying to tell you, ladies and gentlemen. I know what I'm trying to tell you, ladies and gentlemen. You got to stop skip hopping around through life like rabbits. You have to. You cannot continue believing these flim flammers, who have been giving you the logo for so long. And I said that I won't accept that. While I'm here, I'm not going to accept that. I'm not going to let nobody give you the logo. I can't. I cannot permit people giving you the logo, ladies and gentlemen, And ladies and gentlemen, if you're thinking of buying, something, some kind of an investment, look into gold. Look into gold. You can make a couple of coins still, you can do something, ladies and gentlemen. You got to be smart. La situación está jodida. I know what I'm trying to tell you guys. I know what I'm trying to tell you. Be smart with your money. Stop giving away your 401k. Stop giving away your children's dental insurance money away. Stop giving it away. I'm telling you. Listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. I have to make, Damon, excuse me that I'm using your name, but Damon, I have to make these emergency live, restroom, bathroom videos, because as you know, gold is going crazy, papi. Gold is going crazy. And the new owners of the world want their share back. And they don't care who it is. They don't care who it is. This man that I'm telling you, the boxer, you're going to see him homeless. It's sad. You know it, Damon. But I've been telling you guys forever. This is why I said I have to make a video for them, because these people are skip hopping around through life like rabbits. And I'm telling you, I mean, I cannot permit that you guys, continue, listening to these flim flammers. You got all these people that want to keep on living off your children's dime, and I'm not going to permit that, because, I'm not. Listen, instead of spending your money on these flim flammers, take your family on an adventure, take him on a trip, take him somewhere, take him in a I don't know, take him in a canoe cruise, but do something, stop being monkeys. These people are a bunch of cockroaches. Son cucarachas, papi, ustedes son cucarachas, son el diablo, son cucarachas. If you guys don't know what cockroaches is, you Google it. But these guys are like ticks, ticks. They're in your logo, I'm telling you, I know what I'm telling you. Listen to my friend D. I'm gonna call him D. If you are gonna buy a watch, you gotta make sure it's a supersonic bottom basement price. Do not listen to these people. I was looking at the prices. I was looking at the prices that these flim flammers are putting out there in the internet and social media, and it's crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, you know what they're asking for a Rolex Yachtmaster titanium black dial, black ceramic bezel? You know, hold on to yourself, ladies and gentlemen, so you can see what it is. They're asking for a Yachtmaster black dial, black ceramic bezel. They're asking $27,000 already. You know, they're asking $27,000. And I'm going to tell you, window lickers, lollipop suckers, crayon eaters, tomato cans, crumb bums, possum kickers, cow tippers, don't pay for that watch. And I mean, don't pay for that watch more than $20,000. You do whatever you want, ladies and gentlemen, but I have to come to the rescue. You know, I have to come to the rescue. I have to come to the rescue to help you guys out. Pa que no lo jodan más. You know, they're taking you guys, they're taking your children's tuition money. I know what I'm telling you. You know, I mean, you guys don't want to, you guys don't want to find yourself with your pair of white Hanes underwears with skid marks. That's unbelievable. I know many of you out there have had that adventure of having skid marks on your Hanes underwears, you know. I know what I'm trying to tell you. I mean, you do whatever you want, but I'm telling you, look into the Mayweather boxer, the way the owners of this world have taken his money. That money was never his, ladies and gentlemen. I think these people are going to let this gentleman, you know, have 60 apartment buildings in Manhattan. You know, says that he makes $3 million a week. He makes more money than, for what he says, he makes more money than Bill Gates. You know, Papi, it's over, bro. It's over. I know, it's over. You guys are not sure. You guys are not ready for this channel. This channel's unbelievable. You know, I told Sweet Kid Kino, I'm on vacation. You know, my wife loves me. I love my wife. You know, we're on vacation. She bought me this beautiful hat. You know, and we can't. You know, I'm telling you, you guys are not ready for this channel because this channel is too powerful for you guys. Mucho. I cannot be talking to you guys about Illuminati, the Masons, Masonic, 32 degree. I can't, because you guys will go nuts. If you find out how the world really works, you find, se asustan, and I don't want you guys to get scared. And there's some of you out there who, that know what I'm talking about, Okay, look, somebody's saying that new guy. I'm not saying this. Somebody's telling right now that the new guy in the White House belongs to the Illuminati. And he's a smart man. Maybe it's true. It is true. I'm telling you, the color blue or the color red is the same thing. All right, guys? So to that gentleman that just said that the guy in the White House belongs to the Illuminati, hey, the one before that belonged to the Illuminati. Anybody that's running with the political party, you're involved in the Illuminati and the Masons. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. And what do me and Sweet Kid Kino get for telling you all this? We get the short end of the stick. You know why? Because we're stupid like that, and we don't care. So we got to make it a jokeable way for you guys, so you guys can feel fine and feel nice. Make it, because it's too much for you. Esto es mucho para la cabeza tuya, papi. This is too much. This is too much. This is too much for you guys. You guys, when you finish watching this live podcast, this is a podcast. When you finish watching this podcast, you come out being smarter. You come out being smarter, because when you tell your friends that gentleman, that boxer, they cleaned him out. They left him homeless. And you know what else they did to that boxer? They gave him the logo. They gave him the logo, papi. They gave him the logo. They gave him the logo. This, let me tell you, man. Listen, man, when you play with these big boys, these people don't mess around. I'm telling you this. These people don't mess around. They don't mess around. They, I don't want I don't want to keep on talking because I'm going to be talking very, very powerful, and I don't think you have la capacidad, the capacity, the understanding, chola la cabeza. I don't think you guys have it. This world is it's an illusion, it's like the Truman Show. It's a Truman Show. La situación está jodida, muchachos. Aprieten, guarden su dinero, hold on to your money, hold on to your children's tuition money, hold on to your children's lunch money, your 401k, your 401k has become like the 1k, unbelievable. You guys gotta be smart. La situación está bien jodida, ladies and gentlemen. These people are attacking all of us with these high prices, with these artificial high prices. The watch market is up and running. The watch market is there, ladies and gentlemen. I'm being honest with you guys. Square business, I'm gonna go now get a massage. I need to get a massage because when the sweet kid Kino, sends me this information, I stay with my mouth open because Kino belongs. I sometimes think Kino belongs to the to the Masons, to the Illuminati, the Illuminati. You know what that is right there? Look at it real well. Look at it. You guys seem ready for this, Bobby. So now you know where the boxers watching to. They're going to be heading to, the night at the Roxbury Club Brothers, feet happy. And they're going to go to the other gentleman. What's his name again? I forgot his name. To pay Wigman, to pay Wigman, the 80-year-old man, and also some of it to the, to the subway jumper in 47th Street. And I told you already, when he was over there in the oil man country, over there, okay, I'll say, when he was over there in Dubai, buying all these watches over there, from the Iron Sheik tunic man, and spending millions and millions of dollars when he got to the airport that he thought he was going to get in, Emirates Airlines to fly back to the States. Hey, hold on, Charlie. You own here millions and millions of dollars of taxes, millions. And those oil men over there don't play around. They don't play around. I'm telling you, I know what I'm trying to tell you people out there. You need to hear this. You might find it funny, you might find it cute, but in all this cuteness and all this, funny stuff, I'm telling you 100% the truth of what's happening out there. But some of you no tienen cabeza para esto, papi. Buy gold, papa. Buy gold. This thing is gonna hit $5,000 an ounce. $5,000 an ounce, and it's gonna catch all of you with your underwears full of skid marks. Believable, unbelievable. You're right. You're absolutely right. He does. The tunic man. Listen to what this man just finished writing down. I know what I'm trying to tell you, ladies and gentlemen. I know what I'm trying to tell you. Esto está muchacho, it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing, and people are not too happy with what's happening. And these people, when they want you out, bro. Listen, the word is, let me give you the word, the real word. Let me give you the real word. When the new order of the world want to sacrifice you, they sacrifice you at whatever cost it is. These people, you don't even see them never. But they are the owners of the world. Ellos no saben de esto, papi, no saben, ellos no entienden. And when they want you out, bro, te rompen el orto. You know what orto is? If you don't know what orto is, you Google it. You Google it. But we don't care because we're stupid like that, ladies and gentlemen. We're stupid. I hope you learned something from, what's happening out there in the world. You saw what happened to the gentleman, that gentleman, that guy over there, that he gave a good, a nice little mass, a nice little mass, like a going away mass. I'm not saying no names because I don't like that stuff, but it's what it is, I gave him a nice mass, and then suddenly El tipo se fue para el carajo, brother. Se fue con Pancho. You know who the Panchos are? You know who the Panchos are? You Google it, because I'm not going to tell you. I know what I'm trying to tell you, ladies and gentlemen. It is what it is. When they want to sacrifice you, they sacrifice you. The same way they sacrifice, what's his name? The king. You know the king? The king of Jailhouse Rock? You know, the way they sacrifice him. And anybody they need to sacrifice, because cash is king here. Cash is king. Everything is cash, papi. Everything is cash. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna go get a massage because tomorrow I'm gonna fight a rhinoceros and a hippo. Anyway, guys, take care and don't forget to brush your hair, ladies and gentlemen. Take care. There you go. You tell them, Damon. Take care, guys. Take care. Be well. Be safe, all of you. Be safe out there.